Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about how to be a well-rounded person, the structures you can implement, the behaviours you should have, and how to slightly alter your day to do so.
Have you seen if the Wi-Fi still works in it?
No, it doesn't. And the 4G is really bad in here.
Yeah.
So this wasn't going to be a podcast episode, but I figured while I'm here I might as well talk about something productive. Let's talk about how to be a well-rounded person. This is something that I figured out was important, I would say rather late, because I was never someone who did like a lot of clubs or did like a lot of sports or hobbies. I kind of was just born creative, or born as someone who loved creativity. At least that's how it felt. Like, you can take the nature and nurture side of it, like whatever you want. Like, yeah, I might have been exposed to creativity early in life and just might have enjoyed it, or like might have just found it easier, or like whatever you want to say about it. Like, that's just what I thrived in. And I never, like I said before, I never thrived in academics, mainly because I am like dyslexic, and it was never like diagnosed. So that definitely took a bunch of skills off the platter for me as a child, because my teachers just thought I was lazy and therefore they gave up. My parents thought I just wasn't trying hard enough, and that also caused some friction. So kind of just like put a bad taste with academics in my mouth. So it's something that has changed though, because once I've got the support that I needed academically, then I loved it, because I found subjects that I've truly enjoyed, i.e. film studies. And yeah, like there is a stigma with doing artsy subjects in traditional institutions, because they do look down upon you, whether they say it or not. But at least I know that, yeah, whether they say it or not, but like at least I know that I'm doing something that has weight. Like, it's not just art, like it's the social, historical, political, emotional context of it all, and you're learning from other people, and that's the most important part if you're learning. So yeah, but when I was younger, I don't know if it's just the culture that I was in, or if it's just how people traditionally talk about being smart, i.e. academically, but the only version of intelligence I was really exposed to when I was younger was academic. Social intelligence and awareness of things, like political awareness, it was never like talked about, it was never exposed to me as much as academic intelligence was. When it was, it definitely wasn't talked about in a way that carried the weight that it does, because you need social intelligence. Like, you need to know how to read a room, how to read body language, how to read people's faces, how to read subtext, in order to have successful social connections and social interactions, and in order to build meaningful connections. And core example is Rory Gilmore in Gilmore Girls. I mean, yeah, I was shocked when for me, like the tipping point of her character was when she slept with Dean when he was married. I think it is for a lot of people as well. And I was kind of like, whoa, like when I was watching that, I was like, that's not Rory, like Rory's the good girl, blah, blah, blah. But it is Rory, like it makes sense for her. And I say this almost coming from a place of empathy, because she didn't have to learn how to be socially correct, because she grew up, at least in the latter part of her life, in high society, where they always thought that they were right, and they put their feelings and their behaviour above other people's. So growing up with social relations that have really vast power dynamics, and not ones that have ones of equality or ones of like proper substance, it's definitely going to be harder for her to realise how important it is to be socially attuned and to have empathy for other people. And it does make sense that she thinks that academic intelligence is the only form, because that's kind of how she was swayed. Like, they never, I mean, Lorelai for sure, because Lorelai is a bit more down to earth than like her grandparents, but her grandparents never really molded her, or when they talked to her, they never were like, Rory, like, we know that you're great at academics, but you know, you could work on this. Or like, Rory, don't talk like that. Or Rory, like, it was wrong when you slept with Dean. Or like, Rory, it was wrong when you stole the yacht. Like, no, they just take her in, shelter her, and try and brush it under the rug because they don't want their reputation to be ruined. But what they don't realize is when you make a mistake, you grow into a better person if you're willing to, because you can learn from it. But stopping the learning by brushing the mistake under the rug is only going to do more damage, because the person's not going to learn from it, and they're going to learn that it's okay to behave like that and treat other people like that. So no wonder she only prioritized academic intelligence. And yeah, she was really good at it inherently. She kind of did have a knack for it. Like, she wanted to do it. She was never asked to do it or pushed to do it. She always wanted to go to college. So yeah, but it just proves that her actions hurt so many people and her own reputation, and they hurt herself, her own self-image. So having a well-rounded personality is so vital. Like, you need it. Like, it's not something that you can pick and choose. It's not something that you can like pick one day and then not have another day, or lean into one aspect more of. Like, no, like, you need to be a well-rounded, fleshed out person for yourself and for other people. And you do that by having multiple interests. Being well-rounded means that, for me, it means that you know a little bit about everything, the things that really interest you or that are really topical right now in life. You lean into those and you know about them in depth. You ask who, what, when, where, why questions.
Now I'm gonna shit myself.
Okay.
And then we're gonna be.
Being well-rounded just means that you know a little bit about everything. You have hobbies that vary, and you do not pigeonhole yourself into one category of a kind of person. You may lean into a certain type of person or a certain type of way that we describe people, i.e. kind, or i.e. creative, or i.e. academically smart. But you can do other things. Like, you have taught yourself and you have mastered the ability to be good at a varied array of things. Because if you think of it, each category represents a different set of skills and a different set of emotions and a different set of behaviors and characteristics that you normally lean into. But yeah. You never want to be too well versed in just one aspect of life, because it does make you a person of less substance and less depth. And then you could say, well, quality over quantity. This doesn't apply to real life though. It applies to things that you do in life, but you as a person in your own life, you need to force yourself to be interested in things that you aren't. This is what I had to do. I wasn't interested in politics or world history or science at all when I was 12 or 13. All I wanted to do was hone in on my creative skills that I inherently had. But it serves you so well, and it's related to every other aspect of life that you may not think it is. For example, in art, we learn about historical context and political context. When you learn about politics by itself, you can see how that influences art and how artists have been influenced by politics. So you can always learn something in your favor. It doesn't just have to be learning objectively. Like, you can learn subjectively, but you just have to learn, because it allows you to see things through different lenses. It allows you to have more context and you understand why things happen. Because just seeing something and giving your own interpretation is a whole different story to knowing the story behind it and why and how and who did it and was behind it. Because then it allows you to see how processes actually happen in the world, as opposed to just seeing something, saying, oh, that's cool, and walking away. Because it trains you as a human to have more substance as well. And varied hobbies, that would look like, so for me, I'm an actor and I'm studying filmmaking to give myself more knowledge of the behind the scenes of an actor. So when I'm on set and I'm working, because I'm a very curious person, I'm not going to be disturbing other people doing their job and asking why they're doing certain things, but not in a you need like approval from me to do this kind of way, because obviously actor, bottom of the food chain, but in a I want to understand how this is helping the production overall and how me as an actor I can work with this and why I'm working with this. i.e. if the cinematographer tells me to stand here and not move, which can stunt an actor's performance if they're like, if they've been placed in a certain position and they're not allowed to move, because physicality is a big part of acting's 50%, as opposed to like vocal skills, blah blah blah, and characterization. So for me as an actor, I really want to be like, well, why? Because what if my character wants to like move here, or what if she wants to do this? And then instead of me being like, oh, why, I can take the fact that there's an eye light placed onto my eyes, meaning that the camera will catch the light in my eyes more than the light on the rest of my face, which can enhance performance. So I can take that fact when she tells me, oh, it's because there's an eye light here, and if you move, it will go somewhere else and then your eyes won't be lit. So I can take that and I can use that for my performance. But if I didn't know that, then I would be like taken out of the performance, and as an actor I'd be like, well, why? Because it's like ruining my performance. I just need to know why things happen in order for me to understand them and be okay with it. Like, as long as I know why, and I don't have to agree with the why, like I don't have to have an opinion on the why, I just want to know why, so then I can actually apply it and remember it. Because again, understanding the whole life cycle of something elucidates the process for you, and then you remember it. You don't just remember like parts of the puzzle, you remember the whole puzzle, how it looks when you're done with it. Aside from acting, although that's my main focus, I found an interest in neuroscience because, again, I like to know why things happen and how things happen. So when I do something in real life, i.e. I have a really visceral reaction to something someone says and I didn't like how I reacted to it, then I go and study why, like why did I react like that, blah blah blah. And this is an example of how it can bleed into your main interest. So say my main interest is acting, I can take that for a character. I can be like, well, she might react like this because in real life people do react like this if they haven't studied emotional intelligence. There you go. So I as an actor can decide if I think she would have gone onto that route of introspection, or if she would have brushed it under the rug and moved away from it, i.e. like Rory Gilmore. That's not to say that Rory won't ever be introspective. She might one day when it serves her. So yeah. But enough about Rory Gilmore. I like to divide my life into 4 categories so that when I wake up every day, I'm doing something for my physical health, my education, my social health, like my social life, and my career. For me, that's how I feel most fulfilled, if I'm doing something every day for those 4 directions in my life. That allows me to feel like I'm building a well-rounded life. If I was just doing something for my physicality, internally, my growth would be a lot slower, intellectually and emotionally and socially, because I'm just focusing on the exterior. And vice versa, if I was just focusing on my internal education, then I wouldn't be as physically healthy, or I wouldn't have the physical body that I wanted, because I'd be pouring all my energy into that aspect. And that aspect in itself requires a lot of sitting down and reading. Your brain takes a lot of your body's energy. If you're not doing things to exert energy in other places, i.e. running, i.e. yoga, then what are you doing? What are you doing? And do it however works for you. Because I say this like keeping in mind that there are people who were born without limbs. There are people who were born without legs. There are people who've been in horrible accidents. So do whatever you can. If all you can do for yourself physically is go outside in the morning and sit in the sun within the first 30 minutes of waking up to set your circadian rhythm, then do that, because that's still doing something for your skin. You're getting vitamin D, hopefully with sun cream, and hopefully not high UV sun. And you're getting sunlight into your eyes, which then goes into your brain and tells your body that it's time to wake up. Like, come on body, wake up. So just do whatever works for you. Like, it doesn't have to be the usual type of things that people do. Do you feel like it can appear quite black and white? Like, when I first got into fitness, it was very much like, okay, you go into the gym, you lift weights and you run on the treadmill. But there's so many other things that you can do. I mean, skipping is one of the funnest forms of cardio that you can do. Same effects. Make sure that you're doing something for you, not for other people, because some things might work for other people. You don't want to be following someone else's plan. You want to take inspiration from it and apply it to your own life. So I would also outline a couple sectors in your life that you feel are really, really important. I would 100% though, no matter who you are, keep physicality and mentality as two main sectors for you to pour your energy into, because I think as human beings, as beings with spirits, mind and a body, you need to be doing something for each. And yeah, trust me, there are days where I do just want to deep dive into certain topics that I find really interesting, i.e. Cleopatra and why they haven't found her tomb and all the different theories behind it. But then I'll stop myself and then I'll move on to something else, i.e. socializing. I'll go talk to my brother, or I'll go call my friend, or I'll go feed my interest in nutrition, or I'll go watch a lecture on Yale. There are open courses on the best universities in the world that can teach you so many topics, and it's free education. Go watch an open course lecture on Yale about nutrition and nutrition theories and how it interacts with politics and how it interacts with our health. There's so much to learn. You just have to want to, and I have to force myself sometimes, because I'm also someone who doesn't like to start things without finishing the other thing, because in reality I probably won't finish the other thing, or it will go on for weeks if I don't finish it straight away. But that's when you have to force yourself to balance, because when I find something really interesting, I could read about it or watch YouTube videos about it for hours and hours and hours, because I want to get to the bottom of it. And that's good. Like, you shouldn't do things in a surface level way. I think this can be an issue or a balancing problem with being a well-rounded person, is you don't want to be someone who's good at everything and not great at one thing. But I think you do it in a way where you do a bit of something every day where you're good at it, and then you eventually become great, because you're building, think of it like a bar graph, like you're building parts of you up in different levels, but you're doing it up to the same level. Therefore, you're a more well-rounded, leveled person. You're not like that in some places and like that in some places. So by me like stopping myself with examining Cleopatra's story and telling myself to move on, I have then fed my intellectual side and my social side in a day, as opposed to just my intellectual. And also, don't do it as a tick in the box exercise. Like, don't open an article, read a brief summary of it, and then say that you fed your intellectual side. You need to actually think about what you've read, and people say try and remember it, but you remember it by, one, understanding it. So if you don't understand it, just make yourself ChatGPT it, or ask someone else to explain it to you, or you try and explain it to someone, or you try and read it through a different lens. So you understand it, and then you ask yourself questions about it and you apply it to your own life. I.e., if I was Cleopatra, what would I do? Or if I was an archaeologist, what would I do? That's how you remember. You can be a person with one major life goal and still be well-rounded, because it's not just the destination, it's the journey, and it's who you meet along the journey and where you end up along the journey, and that is in your control. Like, you attract what you are. In the long run, it's only going to help you. Like, you only ever learn when you do things. Some people may say things are a waste of time that you think was actually productive, and that's because of the way you're looking at it. You're both in the same situation. One of them doesn't appeal to someone as much because they're not looking at it through the lens of what can I learn here. They're looking at it through the lens of this isn't what I was expecting and I want to move on to the thing that I was expecting. But who's the real winner there? Like, you can't always change the situation, but you can change how you look at it. And another thing with being well-rounded is it doesn't matter what you do if you're not doing it. Sorry, I'm cleaning. Let me just stop. I think the biggest thing with trying to become a well-rounded person is it doesn't matter what you do if you're not doing it with the right mindset. Like, just forget everything else I told you if you're not doing it with a growth mindset. This was instilled in me in primary school to have a growth mindset and a positive outlook on things, and to always persevere and keep trying in primary school, and it's stuck. Because the second you look at something from a pessimistic outlook, you lose half of the things that you could be learning. The second you stop looking at things from a positive outlook, you lose half of the opportunities, and the experience itself becomes a lot darker. Like, you could be stuck in traffic and yeah, you could be late for like a dentist appointment or to pick up your child from school, but if you let yourself become annoyed by it, because remember, things don't make you feel a certain way, you let yourself feel a certain way. You choose how you feel about things. So if you feel angry about traffic, what is that going to do for you? Like, what is that going to do for you? It's not going to propel you to get out of the situation, because if you could, you would. Like, no one wants to be in traffic, but if you're in traffic, maybe take the time to listen to a podcast and learn something, or take the time to talk to the person in the passenger seat next to you, who you might have only got to talk to for 2 minutes, but now you get to talk to them for 10 minutes. And then you could have a deeper connection. Like, there's a ripple effect to everything. You may just think an emotion is a fleeting thing passing through you, but it passes on to the rest of your day if you let it. So don't. And remember, if there's something that you do want to become really good at, like say you want to become a bodybuilder and you need to have intense training for that, do it. Like, that's not separate from being a well-rounded person. Like, don't negate anything, don't negate the training, but what you do need to do is add other things into your life. On the way to training, listen to a podcast about neuroscience. Oh fuck, it's on the sofa. This is my new house too. Everything's wet. So on the way to training, put on a podcast that talks about the benefits of eating walnuts, or the benefits of eating blueberries, and what that does for your brain, which again is correlated to your interest because it's a part of health, brain health, which will directly impact physical health. You're a bodybuilder, you want to know that. Say, because you have to be really careful about your diet if you're a bodybuilder, invite a friend over for dinner, so the dinner making process is a bit less boring. Socialize and eat healthy. Habit stacking, that is what that's called. And as well as keeping that framework in mind, i.e. the couple sectors of your life that you want to improve on, and balancing those throughout the day, be wary of the things that you don't want in your life, i.e. Don't waste your time sitting with this group of friends if they don't leave you feeling fulfilled and energized. Don't waste your time talking to this person if you know it's going to result in an argument. Don't waste your time watching this thing when you could be watching this thing and learning even more. So do you see how we're not completely changing your daily structure? We're just blocking hours out of it for certain things. It's just like in school, like I had what, six or seven subjects a day, and we had like an hour for each of them. We didn't have 5 hours for one and 2 hours. Don't stop, please. My camera's gonna be smashed by the end of this video, but we didn't have like 5 hours for one subject and 2 hours for another one. We have like an hour for each because we're building upon each one every day, if not every other day. We don't have to know everything about something in one day, because also your brain is not going to be able to comprehend that. Your brain needs time for active recall, which is going back and learning something every couple hours or days or weeks, and that's how you remember things. I mean, you did it in school and it worked, it got you this far, so just do it with the things you enjoy this time, and then it will be fun. But remember, you don't want to be known as one thing. You can be someone who wants to be known as mainly funny, but you're not just funny. If you're funny, you're smart, because humor is intelligence having fun. Like, you're not just funny. You're not like a jack in the box. Like, you're a whole person. So be funny. Everyone loves a funny person. But be someone who takes care of themselves physically, emotionally. Yes, we're talking about doing work on yourself, but that includes interacting with other people. Like, other people, your friends and your family and teachers, and even people that you don't like. They all have something to teach you, and not in a didactic way, but you always can learn and grow and connect and communicate with other people, and from that you learn about yourself, and you learn how other people do things. Life is your biggest educator. What's the biggest part of life, you could say? The people around you. Yeah, so do that. So take that structure your day into the sectors you want, balance the time out, have a good mindset, and be good to yourself, be good to other people. Do everything from a place of gratitude. I'm grateful. Fuck off. Do everything from a place of gratitude also. Say that you're really grateful that you have a brain that can read, that can write, that can learn. Say that you're grateful to have a body, 2 legs that can take you from A to B, body that can do everything a human body needs to do / wants to do, and that you're grateful that you can have even more in this life. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy.